Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. Great to be joined again by our friend Franklin Camargo over at PragerU. He's a great political commentator. Also, one of the guys that the Maduro regime of Venezuela had to, throw out and accuse of terrorism because he was a little too effective at calling out socialism. So let's get right to it. Some big primaries coming up. The Democrat Party here in the country has gone full DSA, and well, apparently they think that's the path to victory for all Americans. Is it?
Yes, this is the new reality we're facing. It is sad, but we need to accept it. The Democratic Party has fully embraced socialist policies. They have fully embraced socialism. This is no longer a party that believes in some free markets and maybe a bigger welfare state. It's not a political party that simply wants to adopt the Scandinavian system. No, we're talking about people who are promoting very anti-American and dangerous ideas, such as public ownership of the means of production. That comes from the Communist Manifesto. The Soviet Union tried it, Venezuela tried it, Cuba tried it. Of course, it didn't work. We're talking about a platform that is promoting rewriting the U.S. Constitution, the best and biggest political document ever written that has inspired so many countries around the world, where they want to define that again. They want to change that entirely. They want to change the Supreme Court. They want to abolish the Senate. They need to destroy the American system because they know that the system we have in place, the system that has existed for 250 years, it cannot tolerate socialist policies because socialism goes against individual liberty. And something that the founding fathers believed in is that all individuals are created equal. It doesn't mean we have to have the same. It doesn't mean we're going to have all the same outcomes. No, but we are equal in dignity. We have the same individual rights and we're free to pursue our own happiness. Socialists don't believe in that. And I'm not exaggerating. The Democratic Socialists of America, and therefore the Democrats, are the biggest threat that America faces right now.
So whenever this is brought up, especially in general conversation, if there is someone over from the left side of the aisle present in it, and this is something that I talked about this last week quite a bit, they bring up one of two things. They either bring up, well, it's just universal health care. How could you not want people to just have a doctor? Or number two, they bring up Zoran Mamdani of New York and say, well, he's just delivering free ice cream and rainbows and sunshine. And I mean, they're just terrified of Zoran Mamdani. So pick apart those two for us, because those are what's thrown up. But again, from Venezuela, from your study of history in the Soviet Union, from China, from other countries that have gone down this road, are there any parallels that you're seeing, and what are the answers to it?
Yes, 100%. And again, this is not about exaggerating, because the most common thing we hear, even Bernie Sanders would say during his political campaigns, when I'm talking about socialism, I'm not talking about Venezuela. Okay, but if you're not talking about Venezuela, why are you promoting government-run grocery stores? Why are you going after business people? Why do you want to implement rent control, price control? Why do you want the government to control the entire economy, to centralize the economic activity of cities, states, and the entire country? That's not what we see in Scandinavia. That's what we see in Cuba, Venezuela, or what we saw in the Soviet Union. It's not.
But they'll say, they'll say, well, in Cuba they have, they'll have healthcare, universidad. I mean, it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's fantastic. Everyone has it. What do you bring up here? Because again, I heard that was promised in Venezuela too. Maduro, when he was coming into power, he's like, oh, healthcare for everyone, it's going to be amazing, fantastico. I mean, and then it turned out to not be.
No, you have to pay for it. That's what they don't tell you. And they tell you that the rich is going to pay for it. But the numbers do not really match. Look at this. They say that Elon Musk has too much money. Yeah, he's the first trillionaire. It depends on the day. Some days he's not even a trillionaire.
Right, we talked about that yesterday.
Liquid cash, but leftists do not understand that. They don't want to understand that. But if we took all Elon Musk wealth, we would only be able to fund the federal government for 57 days. 57 days. If we took the richest man's entire net worth, 57 days. And that is without Medicare for all. That is without all the free stuff that they want to promise. So how are they going to pay for that? You are going to pay for that. They are going to tax middle class. They're going to tax everybody, corporations. That is going to affect the economy. And here's the thing, they are not even going to deliver good results. The government has no real incentives to generate goods or services that have high quality, especially because they are going to destroy private corporations and the incentives to give you something that you want and that, of course, fulfills your needs. The government cannot even run the DMV, and you want the government to run your entire life. And it's such a dangerous policy. Look, just the government-run grocery stores is more expensive than any private grocery store. The prices are going to be 30% cheaper in New York than in
they say,
other private establishments. But who is going to pay for it? Is
right.
the truck drivers are going to get paid less? No. I hope no, by the way. Workers are going to have a lower salary? No. Food is just going to cost less because no, it's not going to cost less. What it means is that the consumer is not necessarily going to pay it directly, but he's going to pay taxes. He's going to have to deal with inflation and with all the problems that the public service has to offer. So again, when we look at the Scandinavian system that Democratic Socialists in America love to point out as an example, those are countries that have free market economies. Denmark doesn't even have a minimum wage. When Zoran Mandani is saying that we should raise the minimum wage, why doesn't he mention that Norway doesn't have a minimum wage? They have lower corporate tax that sometimes we do. And those are free market economies with a welfare state. But that is not what the DSA and Socialists in America are promoting. They're promoting socialist policies. They want the government to control the economy, to control your life. And trust me, we have seen this before. Some people on the left love to say, well, Frank, you're just traumatized. And you think that everyone every socialist is like the socialist you saw in Venezuela. Well, if what you're saying is true, and it's just me being traumatized, why is the DSA sending their own activists to Cuba to learn more about the Cuban system? Why did the DSA send activists to Venezuela last year to meet with Maduro? So is it me being traumatized, or is the same political platform that is openly stating the ideas that they want to implement and the countries and systems they admire?
Exactly correct. And again, I've seen the system fail too many times. You have seen it fail up close. And it's through always the same smarmy promises of people like Mamdani who just pretend that you can just wave a magic wand and then presto, everyone just gives a little bit more and it's all sunshine and rainbows. It's just failed miserably and on the graves of millions, tens, hundreds of millions every single time that it's tried. I really can't thank you enough for coming back with us. Franklin Camargo over from PragerU. Thanks for giving us a couple of minutes, man.
Thank you for having me. See you next time.